video, I'm going to reveal things that I've never publicly shared because I'm going to show you the three-step negotiation process that has made me millions in real estate. And in this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and explain how you can use this three-step process to effortlessly close your deals. Now, in this video, what you're going to discover is why not caring about the deal will actually win you more deals. You're going to learn how to start your negotiations to get the best possible deals and how you can turn the person you're negotiating against to actually start negotiating for you. Now, it's important to understand you need to watch this video all the way through because each step builds on the other step. And so if you skip a step in the process, then the entire framework doesn't work. And you're going to want to hang around to see the end where I go over step 3 because that is really the secret to negotiations that I've only revealed to private clients of mine behind closed doors. So if you're ready, buckle up. Let's dive in. Effective negotiations come down to 3 key steps: the law of least effort, always start low, and the picnic table theory. So what is number 1, the law of least effort? Well, the law of least effort states that he who cares the least wins, or she. I want to ask you something, okay? This is gonna make the analogy hit home. Have you ever had a significant other that you liked more than they liked you? You ever felt like they were maybe pulling away no matter how hard you would chase them, right? That's the experience a lot of us had. And in fact, the more that you chased them, the harder they pulled away. It's like as you ran towards them, they were running away from you. Or have you been on the flip side, where they liked you way more than you liked them? And the more they came after you, the less you had to do. You just kind of sat back and they were chasing you. That is the law of least effort. The person in the interaction who cares the least wins. But why is this the case? Well, it's all rooted in human psychology and social dynamics. Let me explain. In every interaction, there is always someone who is implied as the dominant one, the leader, and the one who is submissive, okay? Not the way you're thinking, get your mind out of the gutter. Now, what's important is think back to regular social dynamics that you've had, right? The boss, that's the dominant one versus the employee, the submissive one. The doctor, they're the dominant one, they tell you what to do versus the patient, submissive, they don't know what to do. The teacher, they're teaching you what to do, they're dominant. The student, they're submissive, they don't know what to do. See, in a negotiation, the person who cares the least about winning the negotiation is the one who is quote unquote dominant. And the one who cares the most is the submissive one. See, if a seller has to sell and you aren't even sure you want to get the deal, you automatically assume the role of the dominant one in that interaction and they're the submissive one. Now, if a seller couldn't care less about selling, but you just want the deal so bad where you're chasing them, well, now they're the dominant figure of the negotiation because you're chasing them, right? You always want to be the one who wants the deal the least because by doing so, you create the environment where they want the deal more than you do. And once you've done this, you're ready to move on to step number 2, which is always start low. Know this, you should always be prepared for negotiation, even if it's just a small one. Everyone wants the best deal. So it's human nature to want to negotiate a little bit, right? With that in mind, you need to give yourself room in the offer to have a negotiation take place. Because if you start the negotiation with your highest and best offer, you leave no room for negotiation. Let's break down a real example. Let's say you've got a deal that's worth $200,000, okay? And you want to get it at $100,000 max. If you were to come in and immediately offer $100,000, because of what we just talked about a second ago, where it's human nature to want to negotiate, well, the seller's going to come back with a counter offer that's going to be above $100,000. So say they come back at $150,000. Well, the chance of you now locking the deal up at $100,000 is slim to none. You're realistically going to fall somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000, which is above the target deal number you're trying to get. Instead, what you want to do is start the negotiation below your max offer. So in this situation, I would actually start the negotiation at $70,000 because I know the seller is going to want to negotiate. They may come back at $120,000. What I can then do is I can meet them in the middle at $100,000, right? And now that you've done this, you can move on to the final and the most important step. Without this next step, you will miss a ton of deals, so pay attention. Step number 3 is the picnic table theory. This is something that I stumbled upon when I was working my 9-to-5 selling roofs door to door. I would notice that my best deals were when it felt like me and the homeowner were actually working together to solve their problem. And not that they saw the situation as, oh, me versus the salesman, right? So metaphorically speaking, me and them were sitting on the same side of the table. We were working together to overcome the issue on the other side of the table. And after realizing this, I sought to recreate that situation each time I was working with someone. And I called it the picnic table theory because in a negotiation, you can really boil it down to 3 parties that sit at the table. You, them, and their problem. See, when you and them sit on the same side of the table and you work together to solve their problem, that is when you are creating win-win deals. But you want to avoid them seeing it as just you versus them, right? Where they see you as the problem. So how do you make that happen? Where they see you and them working together versus their problem? Well, number one, actually care about them, right? If you have their best interest as the goal, that's the biggest thing, okay? Now, tactically, what you want to do is remove yourself as the decision maker for your company and create a new decision maker. The way that you do this is basically by deferring decisions to the quote unquote underwriters, right? So it could look something like this. Hey, Sally, I understand that you're looking to get $150,000 for the property. I'm going to have to check back with the underwriters and see if they would even approve something like that because honestly, I'm not too sure. What are some things that you could tell me about the property so I could go ahead and tell them and see if they'd even be willing to raise your offer? See, by having the underwriters, and it could be anyone, you could say your partner, your manager, etc., just have another party. What you're doing is you're automatically creating the frame that it's you and them working together versus the problem, which is now the underwriters, okay? So if you apply these 3 steps to your negotiations, watch how many deals you start to close. You're gonna be closing deals like clockwork. Now, if this stuff seems like a lot to learn, it's okay, it takes practice. Just focus on getting good at each step one at a time and then moving on to the next step. Because after a few reps, this is gonna become second nature and you're not gonna need to think about doing these 3 steps. You will do them automatically. I hope this helps. See you in the next one.